Today we're going to do things a little bit different. Again, just kind of like my last video that I probably just posted. What I'm going to show you today are things to look out for in the woods. I was metal detecting, I did find a few bullets, but I also came across 2 marijuana growing operations. Now they're not in operation right now because of course it's early spring, but last year, probably 2 years ago, someone had a bunch of weed growing out here in 2 different spots, and I think it was 2 different operators because they're 2 different setups. Now I'm going to show you why I think that. Now, pay attention because you can learn what to look for when you're out there metal detecting or hiking, because you don't want to wander into somebody's little setup if they're actively operating it. On the flip side, you growers, you need to learn what not to do. There's certain things you shouldn't be doing if you want to keep your stuff secret. Because people like me can pick up on your clues and you're going to get busted. You don't want to get busted. So I'm going to show you those. I'm going to show you some skulls and maybe a creepy body or 2, you know, and a couple other things. But there's not going to be any digging. If you're here for the digging, check out another video, go watch Nugget Noggin or somebody like that. But if you're here for some excitement to maybe learn a couple of things, this is the ticket. So I'm out bebopping through the woods doing a little detecting, and off in the distance I see this tree with a star on it. That's kind of odd, I think to myself. Who the heck would mark a tree with a star? So I came over here to investigate, and looky here. Wonder what this is all about. Planter in the woods. I wonder what that's for, huh? I started looking around a little bit more. And there's another planter there, so I guess you've already figured out what we've stumbled on here is a grow operation for marijuana. There's probably some more out in that clearing right there. Yeah, in fact I can see one right next to the tree just above my fingers. It looks like it's kind of an old operation though, so I'm not too worried about it. Although there are bones laying around, so maybe that's the grower right here, huh? Or the guy that was metal detecting. Scary. Actually, it's really lightweight, so I know it's a bird. That size is probably a turkey. So for all you kiddies out there, if you're going to have an illegal grow operation for marijuana, don't be putting big flags on the tree like that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It draws the attention of people from a long ways away. That's a sure sign that this spot has already been metal detected. And you see iron laying against trees like that. I'd recommend you don't do that. For one, it gives away your spot. And 2, it's unsightly. It's really not much better than throwing a beer can down, in my opinion. But, yep, if you see something like that, you know you're not the first. Oh, this is a new one for me. Anybody need a dirt devil? So I'm about a half a mile from that marijuana grow operation I showed you with the big star on the tree. And I came upon some more suspicious activity. You notice this plastic bottle here, and there's one there, and we're in kind of a clearing in the woods. So I suspect this is a grow operation as well, probably several years old by the looks of it though. In fact, if you look down there, you can see there's another bottle right down there. Here's something cool. Here's a deer skeleton. Looks like it's been here for a couple of years. Someone shot it and didn't retrieve it for whatever reason. Pretty nice little skull. It's a doe. It's a deer. It's a female deer. The way I can tell is there's no antlers right here. Or no nubs either. You can also tell it's pretty young because you see the suture lines on its skull. So it's a young one. Neato. Oh, and one other thing too, when you're out bebopping around, if you want to sit down and have lunch, you don't want to sit on a pile like that because that's an ant nest. You see little ants running around. We don't have fire ants here, so that's not a big deal, but I'm just going to give it a little kick so you can see what it looks like. See all the ants in there running around. You'll have this thing repaired in an hour, so it's not a big deal. But always watch out for little mounds of dirt like that when you're out hiking. So I'm about 100 feet from where I just showed you those 3 water bottles in the deer skull. I came upon this. So this absolutely validates my thoughts that we're near a grow operation for marijuana. This is the tray that brought the little plants out in. Of course, the plants were in there. These little things. I mean, why are people so stupid they'd leave the stuff hanging around? And that's probably, that could be a couple years old though. If you look through here, you can see all the little cups scattered around. Out in this little clearing is where they would have the plants growing. I don't see any recent holes here where they had plants. And marijuana usually has nice big stalks. I've seen a lot of it out in the woods, and I don't see anything like that here, so I'm guessing they weren't here last year. Doesn't mean they won't be here this year, though. If you can GPS my coordinates, get yourself some weed. I wouldn't do that to these guys. You know, one other point for you guys, I mean, these aren't big grow operations. These are probably just the people that live in the houses nearby. We don't have a lot of problem with, you know, cartels and really bad guys. These are just local people. It's just a shame they have to come out here in the wild to do this. They should be able to just plant the stuff in the garden and be done with it. Hopefully, you know, we'll get to that point soon. Looks like the nation is turning that way. But yeah, anytime you see stuff like this, you know something's up. Here's a poor little turtle shell. I find a lot of these when I'm out digging. This is an eastern box turtle. Poor little guy. You wonder how they die. You know, what kills them out here. If it's just old age, because, I mean, they didn't get run over, that's for sure, in the middle of the woods. This one has a really weird shape, though. I mean, look at the top of it. See how it's all crinkly up in here? He must have got run over or stepped on when he was little. Because, I mean, it's completely healed, but that should be smooth. Might save this one. I can smell something dead in those bushes over there. Shall we investigate? Probably just a deer. I mean, I've seen a lot of bones out here today, but let's see what we might find. It's close by. It's pretty strong. I'm not going down in the middle of those weeds, though. Ah, there it is right there. Yeah, it's just a deer. I find a lot of this stuff when I'm out metal detecting. This is probably the 15th one I found today. In various states, yeah, it's stinky as can be. Look at its head. You can see there's no antlers, no nubbins, so we know that's a doe as well. So it was either shot and crawled up here in the bushes and died, or somebody could have run it over, I guess, because we were close to the road. Oh well, poor little dude, or dudette. Here's another little trash dump. Anybody collect LPs? A bunch of them in here. Ah, look at that. Sun did that to these things. A bunch of them in here. Let's see what kind of taste in music these people had. Don't know. Nah, I guess we're never gonna know, are we? Yeah, the labels are completely gone. Hard to say. A little bit of recyclables in here if anybody wants them. Not a whole lot, but I guess this will bring a few dollars. Not very exciting, eh? Here is another deer carcass. You can see the bones scattered through the woods. And this is the skull. Now, if you look at this skull, there's something interesting about it. Okay. Now we can tell it's a buck because it had antlers. You can see the antlers are growing out of its head here. But if you look real close at them, you see all these little chew marks. See all those little chew marks there, and on that side too? That's from animals that need calcium. They come by, like I guess the squirrels and things like that. They come by and they chew these down to the nubs. I suppose it's because they want calcium, but you know, it could also be because their teeth continue to grow, squirrels anyway, continue to grow throughout their life, and if they don't wear them down, they actually will curve back around into the skull and kill them, puncture the brain. So the old squirrel or mouse or whatever that was, either needed a shot of vitamins or he was long in the tooth. But that's what that is. Cool, huh? Well, that's evil looking, isn't it? Looks like a devil. Arrgh. I'm going to show you one more deer skull. And I actually came back to this one because I've been thinking about it and I can't quite figure out what's going on. This is his jaw. It's a little tiny guy. Here's his skull right here. It's a little bit gross, but this has been out here for a while. It's small enough that, well, it's a buck. See the little nubbies right there? It's a very, very young one. I mean, it's very light. What's interesting to me is the cranial cavity has been broken open. I guess something ate its brain. But I never ever see this in skulls in the woods. I mean, I just never see this. I got to thinking about it. I'm wondering if an eagle did this. The reason I'm kind of thinking that is the only other place I've seen this type of broken open area was where eagles were eating turtles on the river. I found an eagle nest, and below it was at least a dozen turtle shells, and they all had like these ragged open spots in them like this, like almost a beak one right there in that hole. So I'm wondering if that could be what this is. It tore its face off too, though. But it's almost too small, I think, to be, you know, one that was shot. I think it would have been a little bit bigger, but maybe with these nubbins there, I don't know. So that's an odd one for me. I've never seen that before.
Want more? Okay, I guess that means yes.